朋友们，大家好。最近，巴基斯坦准备从中国引进40架第5代战斗机，据说是刚刚亮相的歼35。这个消息在印度传得沸沸扬扬。印度网红学者查福特在自己的播客节目中也谈到了这件事。他表示，目前对印度来说，唯一的应对办法也只能是尽量以数量优势来抵消质量上的劣势。印度这个国家不得不说有点自大才疏，眼高手低，想和世界军事强国特别是中国平起平坐，你有的我也要有，但又苦于实力不够，搞得场面很被动。印度为了增强空军实力一直在做计划，但都出了状况。比如查福特提到的114架战机计划，这个是什么呢？这个是印度计划采购114架多用途战斗机，作为印度制造政策的一部分。这个计划被称作多角色战斗机项目，简称 MRFA。 但这个不是直接进口，印度希望外国公司与本土公司合作，在印度生产这些战斗机，因为只有这样才符合印度制造政策。候选机型都是4代或者是4代半战机，包括法国的阵风、美国的 F-21，也就是 F-16的改进版，还有 F-18超级大黄蜂、瑞典的鹰狮、俄罗斯的米格35和苏35等等，但一直谈不拢。而印度又急需怎么办？就从法国采购了36架阵风战斗机，总价值约87亿美元，这个是纯进口，最后一架于2022年交付完毕。这些阵风战斗机主要部署在印度北部和东部地区，针对中国和巴基斯坦方向的潜在威胁。这个是4代机。5代机，印度有个先进中型战斗机计划 AMCA， 想完全自主研发第5代隐身战斗机，但也是困难重重。乐观估计最快2035到2040年看能不能出来一个原型机，但印度人普遍自己都不相信。再往前是上个世纪80年代就开始启动的 LCA 项目，就是那个光辉战机的项目，那个是3代机，经历了无数次的延误，技术、资金、管理、供应链各个方面都有问题，一直到现在印度空军也才接收了40架。所以基本上查福特说的以数量换质量也只是一个空想而已。
Pakistan is in talks with China to get 40 fifth-generation fighter planes. This will give Pakistan a huge edge over India. China has parked 200 J-20 fighter planes on our border. So by your logic, or as Stalin said, quantity has a quality of its own. The government apparently is still sleeping over the purchase of 114 fighter jets over the past 2 decades. Okay. So yes, look, China is a geopolitical adversary of India. Right now, things may be going better. The relationship may be on a better track right now because of mutual concerns with much more powerful nations and so on. But geopolitically, from the logic of strategy, China and India, because of the fact that they are 2 very powerful nations, not equally powerful, but quite powerful nations, and they have a very long common shared border, such nations can only be adversaries long term. The same applies to Russia and China. So China will definitely want Pakistan to become a more powerful nation. That will obviously give them a tremendous amount of leverage in their negotiations and dealings with India if Pakistan becomes more powerful than what it is right now. And one of the ways of doing it is to supply Pakistan fighter planes that are superior to what India has. So it may happen, Pakistan may acquire whatever number it is, 40 or whatever, 5th generation fighter planes from China. And that will give them a tremendous advantage because the Indian Air Force is still mired in the 20th century mindset of emphasizing dogfights and pilot skills over futuristic 21st century technology. So yeah, it will definitely give Pakistan a very large advantage, a very big and significant and considerable advantage over India. Now, it's not like we could not see this coming. This could have been seen coming 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. So what have we been doing about it? Yeah, the purchase of 114 fighter jets. I think the government has decided to prioritize building our own indigenous fighter planes over purchasing 114 or whatever number from abroad. And as a stopgap measure, we have purchased 36 Rafales from France. So it's a small number, it's not a very large number. It is quality, but definitely not quantity. So what should India do? We need to obviously ramp up the production of the Tejas fighter plane, but you can't do that when you don't have jet engines. And we are purchasing jet engines from the Americans and they are withholding these. So we are in a very tight spot right now. Uh, as a stopgap measure or as a countermeasure, one could perhaps modify the Tejas fighter plane to be able to use the Russian Saturn AL-31 or whatever engine. It's a different kind of engine. It's uh, it's used in the Sukhoi. The Sukhoi has two of those engines, so maybe we could cut down our dependence on the Americans and go for the Saturn engine that the Russians have. Perhaps that would definitely require modifying the airframe and whatever of the Tejas. But you know what? At least the Russians won't withhold uh, the jet engines from us. So India needs to find a solution to the Tejas issue. And once that jet engine solution is found, we need to find ways of ramping up the production. Right now, what's the production rate? 12 per year, 18 per year. I'm not sure what the rate is. It's not enough. We need to double it at least. We can maybe create a second plant with the same kind of assembly line, which can output the same number as the existing plant. So then we can double the production rate of the Tejas fighter plane. And then over a few years, we can have significant numbers. So let's say Pakistan has 40 or 50 fifth generation fighter planes and China has whatever number. Let's say we have 300 Tejas fighter planes. Then the quality and quantity kind of offsets each other. And when it comes to Pakistan, you don't even need fighter planes actually. Drones can do the job, high quality unmanned aerial vehicles. You can mass produce them and use that to kind of blanket Pakistan in case of war. And you can hit whatever number of targets you want with that. And drones are low visibility, hard to detect, especially if they fly low, and you can send them in as many numbers as you want. Then the Pakistanis in this hypothetical scenario can shoot as many missiles as they want, expensive missiles, to bring the drones down, but we just can keep throwing more drones and that can achieve whatever effect you want. So you don't need fighter planes when you're dealing with a nation that doesn't have a large geographical distance from India like Pakistan. The furthest point in Pakistan is just a couple of hundred kilometers from India, roughly, give or take. Okay, so Pakistan can be easily dealt with using just drones. So I don't know if the Army, Air Force are thinking along these lines, but hopefully they are. But this is the 21st century. We can already see the way the rules of the rules of warfare have completely been changed by the introduction of these new technologies. So we should also do that. So Pakistan can be dealt with using drones. Obviously, if they send fifth generation fighter planes into India on an airstrike, then we need to find ways of dealing with those. And obviously, that's a problem. It's a technological problem. It's a military problem that the armed forces need to solve. So once again, it all comes down to fighter jet engines. We need to acquire jet engine technology, and we also need to very seriously look at using the various ways of using drones and robotics in warfare. But at the end of the day, we would also want to have our fifth generation fighter plane as soon as possible. The main problem is the jet engine. Once we have that, we can test fighter plane designs and do whatever is required. And we need to very much take inspiration from SpaceX. So when it comes to, like, they have completely transformed the way the space race is being looked at. They are the number one rocket manufacturer in the world, whether it's governments or private organizations, doesn't matter. And they are launching rockets like there's no tomorrow. 100 plus launches every year, every week, like 2 or 3 launches. And they have come such a long way. In just 2006 that they almost went bankrupt as a company, and their first 2 rocket launches failed, and finally the third one succeeded. That's how the company remained viable. But the technological progress they've done over the past 5-6 years is incredible. They have developed Starship from almost scratch. If you look at the video of the first test flight of Starship, it doesn't even look like a rocket. That is 2018 or 2019. And see where they are today. I think it was 2019 that they first launched Starship, which looked like it can. And look at Starship today. They have built up the technology. They've developed the technology so incredibly fast. So we can't be all bureaucratic and slow paced when it comes to these matters. We have to do these things as fast as possible. So hopefully India learns from SpaceX.